want to talk about this one-man show that you did.
Okay.
Your mom.
Your ma'am.
Your ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, your ma'am. You know what I mean? You can't say that to too many folks, you know what I mean? Let's get this money. All right, hold up. Let me put my phone
Speaking
down.
of money, can we sort out the fee?
Hey, don't talk to me
Have we
about
sorted
that.
that?
Talk to the producers.
Brilliant, thanks.
Yeah,
Through my agent.
I didn't invite you here.
I said not to.
All right. We got a name now. Makers and Mavericks is the name of the podcast. And this is Makers and Mavericks with Majid Mehdizadeh-Valoujerdy.
Superb work.
Did I do it?
Superb work. Yes.
My man, thank you so much.
Well done.
So stop me if I say anything a bit ludicrous.
Okay.
If you will.
I will.
But I believe that you are.
You're quite close to the mic. I feel like I need to do the same?
No. It's just when I
Is
feel
it just your style?
Just when I feel a little bit intense. When I feel like I'm about to say something.
Profound.
Yes, sure.
Always.
Like your title here at UEL, at the University of East London,
Yes.
where you teach on performance in the School of Music, Writing, and Performance, or MWP, if you will. But on the course, specifically, Acting for Stage and Screen, where you are a lecturer.
I am. I'm a senior lecturer.
Are you now?
I'm a senior lecturer. Is there a
Come
difference?
on!
Is there a difference?
There's a big difference.
Is there? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, I went straight
Get in.
in as senior lecturer.
Yeah? Hold on,
yes.
you were hired as senior lecturer?
I was hired as senior lecturer. I don't even know what that means, but it's a good thing, I guess. And I'm also now just had my certificate through. I'm a fellow of the Higher Education
Get outta
Academy.
here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Just
See,
did my
I thought I
PG
was doing
cert
well,
in
but
higher education. Well, haven't they got you to do that yet?
well,
You've probably already done it.
I low-key avoided it.
Did you?
I still need to do it. But
I feel like
it's
I
kinda
could have
a-
done that. I feel like I've gone, it's just too busy at the
Yeah.
moment. I mean, you are here, there, and everywhere, to be fair.
I know,
that
but
rhymed.
we'd both be in the streets, though, on the beats, and we're not very discreet about what we do each week in academic geek.
That was pretty good. I'm
Thank
not
you.
even going to try and follow it. I should, but I'm not going to.
That rhymed, too.
I know.
Yeah. Come on. All right, cool. So Majid,
Yes.
I think you're a very exciting teacher, very exciting lecturer.
Thank you.
It's really cool that you're out here. One, because you're an actor, you have a vast resume. You're also in the industry.
Yes.
Right? I think you're actor first. And we all happen to teach, right? And I think a lot of us are very similar. Pretty much we're both like in AA. Right. What that means is we're
Expand
both
on that.
Yes, accidental academics.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I coined it myself.
You did. An
I think AA means something else sometimes.
academic.
But yeah, an accidental academic.
I'd say it's the academic part of it was definitely accidental, but the teaching part of it wasn't. And I mean, I think I was very similar to you in terms of freelance jobs alongside acting are tough.
Yeah.
And it's a grind, and I've done them all. I mean, I've done bar work, I've done manual labour, I've done roofing, I've done waitering, and he said waitressing, waitressing.
You can do either.
Yeah, you could do either. And it got to a point, it was actually when I was in Hollyoaks, towards the end of my contract at Hollyoaks, I thought, I want to put something in place for when I leave that I really enjoy doing. And I've done a kind of a little bit of teaching and directing, and I thought, well, I'm going to get in touch with LIPA, because I was in Liverpool at the time, Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts. I reached out to them while I was still in Hollyoaks and said, look, I'm leaving in January, whenever it was. I'd love to apply for a freelance position. Went and had an interview with them and directed some students, and they said, yeah, come and work with us, and they gradually gave me more and more work, and so there I was, kind of in the higher education sphere, teaching acting, and then we moved from Liverpool to London, and kind of did a little bit of freelance work, and then saw the opportunity for a job here. We'd just had a son, and I said to my wife, because my wife's an actor as well, and I said, I've got to get something full time that's a regular salary, and also something where they're going to understand that I'm also an actor, and they're going to appreciate that as well. So this is like the perfect gig.
So you spoke a little bit about your past, man. You kind of did you start with Hollyoaks as like the first big TV gig or film gig? What was number one?
No, so number one was Warhorse on the West End.
Right. Okay. So
So-
yeah, theater.
Yeah, theatre.
Boom.
Yeah. So I graduated in 2011, and auditioned for Warhorse. I did an episode of Doctors first, which is kind of the bread and butter for any actor is do an episode of Doctors, which is finishing now. I think
It's like the Law and
sadly.
Order of the
Maybe
UK.
it's that. Yeah, exactly. And then auditioned for Warhorse and got a part in Warhorse, and that was the first 18 months of my career, which was amazing because it meant that I could move down to London because my family were in Derby, so I moved back home for about a month and then got that. So getting Warhorse enabled me to move down to London, which of course is where it's at. So much stuff goes on here, and the majority of my auditions in person are all in London. So it is still the place to be, I would say.
Especially for stage.
as an
I mean,
actor.
it is. Yeah.
For stage, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some amazing theatres all around the country that aren't funded enough, and they would be more popular and better if they did have more funding. I mean, the work that they do is amazing, but it would reach a wider audience. But obviously, London is West End, so I was straight onto the West End.
Beautiful.
Which was incredible. But then I kind of look back and go, if it happened again, I would prefer to have got it a bit later, because I was very fresh-faced. I was 21. I still had a lot of anger, which maybe we'll talk about. And I was a real kind of Jack the Lad, just wanted to go out, get drunk, which a lot of young lads and young women do, and young people do. But it's sometimes spilled over into trouble that wasn't ideal at that age and stage of my career. And what it also did, I think, was make me think that I could go straight to Hollywood, in a way.
So you were like Colin Farrell or something. Remember? That was you.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit of a.
Maybe that was a bit too crazy.
I was a bit. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't crazy, but I was just a bit overexcitable.
Well, you saw what happened to Robert Downey Jr. He has an Oscar now.
Right. Yeah, true. I think the main thing was like an American manager came to watch, right, and was really interested seeing me on the show, and I was getting these tapes for like these huge films. Yeah. And maybe we'll get onto this as well. But my drama school training just hadn't prepared me for screen acting. And I just wasn't ready. Yeah. And so the tapes I was giving were kind of they needed work. Yeah. And so it came at the wrong time, and I wasn't prepared for it. And then, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying if I was prepared for it, I would have gone on to these amazing things. But I think it made me think that I was destined for it. So when I left Warhorse, and a month later I was on a building site, I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Whereas really, if it was the other way around, and I was on the building site first, and then got Warhorse, say, a year later, I'd have been like, oh, okay, right, I have to absolutely grasp hold of this. Yeah. And I did make the most of it, and I did love it, and I remember walking into the theatre going, this is incredible, I'm on the West End. So it's not like I didn't recognise that, but at the same time, I think it would have been better if it had come a bit later.
Sure. Well, that's the thing about maturity, right? You know what I mean? And the wisdom can only come with the experience.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what also builds adversity, you know, kind of maybe having that maybe scattered, not necessarily the most ideal plan, but also being able to persevere, you know, through the experience. Yeah. And I mean, and also it's great as a teacher to have that, because of course you have that experience and that understanding, and you've gone through that trouble, and you kind of want the students to know stuff like that. You know, I feel like that's kind of our gig is to, I mean, it's not, you know, I don't know. The thing about directing, or filmmaking, it's like, I don't, sometimes, we're just sit here and put up some lights or whatever, you know, and I can teach you f-stops, and I can teach you what a camera placement can do, or how to maybe speak to an actor in theory, but without actually doing it, that's different, right? So depending on where you want to put the light, and depending on the scene, and depending on the context of everything, because everything's contextual, that's where things are discovered. And I can't really, unless I micromanage each student's choice and decision. Who has time for that? You know, because it's really about, for me, discovery, right, and self-discovery. And I feel like for acting, it must be the same way a little bit, right? You can give a craft, and you can tell students how to reach a certain place, right? But it's really an inherent ability maybe that they need to unlock.
Do you find that more rewarding in a way when they've taken in something about experience which has improved a characteristic of theirs more so than if they've taken something in where they come to you next week and they have this, like, they reel off a load of knowledge about a camera,
right?
For instance, right? Do you find that more rewarding when it's about experience and life and building character, for instance?
Absolutely, because the camera stuff is, frankly, that's the easy stuff, right?
Exactly.
That's like bloop, 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 right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's like learning Shakespeare lines, right? It's like, yeah, just memorize the lines, right? Memorize the camera settings, but then make me feel something, you know, with it.
Yeah.
So if your Hamlet can make me cry, right, after hearing it, you know, however many times we've heard it, then now we're talking about something. And is that something that I taught them? I don't know, right? But hopefully I just put them on the right track, right? And sometimes that's the thing, we're like guides, you know, for these students. And that's my, at least, ethos as an academic, as an accidental academic. I think I discovered that. Because when I tried to be this other, maybe a different academic, where it's like, oh, I gotta wear the tweed jacket and I'd be like, oh yes, movies, you know? And it's like, you know what I mean? We're gonna take the tweed out and we're gonna have a one-to-one and be like, yo, my boy, young filmmakers, this is brass tacks. This is how the game works.
Yeah.
As an independent filmmaker, this is the expectation. Now make me feel something fresh, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting, isn't it? But also hard to reveal the kind of real you in a way, because you are in this position of teacher or academic or director or whatever, and you find that when you do reveal kind of little bits about yourself, the students are like, whoa, this is a person who likes grime music or raps themselves or has done all this stuff, and they don't kind of they don't tend to put two and two together in that way. And I don't think I did either. When I was a student, I didn't kind of see my teachers as separate from them being teachers in a way, with their own set of interests and, you know, hobbies and things that I might not expect. And I think if you can be open really and vulnerable in a way with students, then they're much more on your level in that way. But I think for me it's like just developing confidence is such a huge thing for actors. And if I see, and it might be terrible the work that they're doing, but if in terms of like, was that good acting or not?
Right. Yeah.
But I see them let go, and I see them release something, and find this freedom within the work that they're doing, and that's what's so rewarding. It's like, yes, because it's such a release to do that as an actor.
Yeah.
Is not be afraid to look silly, and to just put yourself out there and do something stupid, right? And when they do that, and those moments are quite rare because it's really hard, and I find it really difficult. And when I'm asking them to do things, I think, could I do this?
Yeah.
I don't think I could in front of them.
Right. Yeah, totally.
I could in front of my peers or like my friends who are actors or whatever in a rehearsal room, but I don't think I could in front of the students. So it's like, it's very brave what they do. As creatives are so brave. And unlocking that is so rewarding in terms of teaching. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with myself because I asked it.
But thank you for the
But it's definitely that's the rewarding part of it for me.
I want to talk about this one-man show that you did.
Okay.
Your mom.
Your ma'am.
Your ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, your ma'am. You know what I mean? You can't say that to too many folks. You know what I mean? I just can't go around and hey, have you seen your ma'am?
No, that was the whole idea of
I like
the play
it.
of words.
Anyway, so your ma'am, one-man show that you wrote and performed yourself.
Yes.
A lot of hip hop, a lot of slam, a lot of poetry, and why wasn't I involved? Because that's my whole thing.
Well, we didn't know each other then.
Right, that's right. And
sadly.
it would have been a two-man show then.
It would have been a two-man show. But I'd have absolutely got you involved.
Thank you.
If I did it now, 100%. I mean, maybe we could talk because, I mean, I've stopped doing it now. People do keep asking me, "Are you
Yeah.
going to do it again?" But I just can't do it myself.
We'll make you a gram.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have somebody else play me.
Okay.
But if I was going to do it again, but yes, that basically came about because whilst I was in Hollyoaks, I applied for the playwrights program at Liverpool Everyman.
Great.
I wanted to do a bit of writing alongside. I mean, the amazing thing about being in a soap like Hollyoaks is you're not in all the time. So sometimes you're in every day for a month, and then other times you're not in for 3-4 weeks. So there is a lot of extra time. So I wanted to do some writing, and the idea kind of came out of my experiences with anger and being a man and masculinity and growing up as a man in today's society and the influence that other men have had on my life, in particular my dad. And I kind of had gone on a bit of a journey whilst in Hollyoaks, actually, where I became much more self-aware and self-reflective, and had some anger counselling, and kind of came out the other side as a much more peaceful, rounded person.
Beautiful.
Ready to be a dad.
Yeah.
And so I wrote about that journey, essentially, and I've always had kind of fantasies since I was very young about rapping, and I found that I could write reasonably well in terms of making words rhyme and the way they fit together and stuff like that, and so made it kind of mostly spoken word and rap. Got my sister involved, who's music expert, let's say, and she kind of helped me to rap and how to like actually do it.
That's dope.
So because I was, I had all this stuff written down, but it wasn't quite fitting, like I'd have to nip out a syllable here or a bar there or whatever, and she really helped with that. And the show came out of that. I mean, I applied for funding from the Arts Council for it and was successful 3 times, can't remember, which was amazing, because we were aiming it at young men, and we did a lot of outreach work, and I worked in collaboration with charities.
Lovely.
Football Beyond Borders, Baby People, and Change Grow Live, and we ran workshops with young people, and then they'd come and see the show, and then we'd do a question and answer afterwards. So it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, but was also incredibly draining, and mentally taxing, and I've always kind of thought about actors when they say like, oh, I just can't do it, sort of thing, because it's so, and I'm like, well, it's acting, like, but actually this was really, really tough.
And there's so much of yourself in it as well.
There's so much,
And you can't necessarily disassociate from the material.
I couldn't really, and it was deeply personal story that I was kind of reliving every night, which was amazingly cathartic, but also kind of made me ill.
Yeah. Okay.
So not in a kind of really bad way, but I remember at the Everyman in Liverpool where I first did it, there was the Delta strain of COVID.
Oh wow.
About, and I finished the final show and I felt like ill, and I was like, this could be COVID, and got drunk because it was the last night of the show. Woke up the next day and like was horrendous, and I was ill it knocked me out for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was the worst I've ever been, and I thought it's because I've not looked after myself, and it's because of the show and all of that. And then I did it at Soho Theatre and was super healthy and really looked after myself, and still got ill. So I'm like, okay, when I'm coming off stage, is this, and this is again reflection, which I wasn't doing before, and self-awareness is just everything, I think. And I was like, so when I'm coming off stage, is it relief that I'm feeling, or is it joy, happiness? And I was like, I think it's relief.
It's over.
And if that's the case, then I shouldn't do it anymore. So
At
I
that
put it to bed.
Boom.
It had its time. It was amazing. But I won't be performing it again.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. We had a show back in the States called Othello the Remix, and every time I go back home, everyone's like, "Yo, Julian, you gotta put Othello on. You gotta put Othello on." And we're like,
Really?
I mean, best show of my life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But nah, I don't think so.
No.
Can't do it.
Cost too much, do you think?
That train's. I mean, if somebody funds it, oh yeah, we'll bring the homies together, man. We'll watch some
really?
Shakespeare. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah,
Something
money,
that's so fun.
money
Yeah.
talks, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, indeed. Don't it? Ain't that why we're here, Majid? So can you tell me about this end of year show that you have right now, Bangers?
Yes. So there's two final year shows going on. I'm directing one of them, and my colleague Jude, who's a visiting lecturer, is directing the other. I'm directing Bangers by Danuja Samar, and it's basically a love letter to 90s and noughties hip hop, garage, UK grime music, and how
it's right up your alley.
It's right up my alley. That's why I picked it. And the students that we've got on level 6 were perfect for it. Cool. There's a DJ on stage throughout, which Lucky is playing, of course. It focuses on 2 people, Aria and Clef. Clef is 17 and Aria is 33. Okay. And she's probably 34 actually. Double Clef is more interesting. Okay. But and it basically focuses on their stories and what they're going through and how music's kind of influenced that. So it's a really cool piece. I think it's only been done at the Soho Theatre previously. Beautiful. So I'm really excited about it.
So I got a question for you. Right, I want to ask you a question around, I guess, a certain theme or a statement, right, that was said in the Guardian, right?
Yeah.
You know, the statement was, without craft, an actor is a liability. Right? There's a lot of actors out there, right? So I feel like, you know, that's quite it could be seen as antagonistic. Okay, but if the shoe fits where, I feel like you have some craft in you. So I don't think that statement was for you. But what are your thoughts on this idea?
So this has come from Patsy Rodenberg, who's a very famous vocal coach, teacher. I hope I'm getting her profession right. She's written books on the voice, and she was head of voice at Guildhall, and she's just left Guildhall. She's resigned from Guildhall because, and again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know complete depth of her argument, but is essentially saying that the way actors are being taught and trained is coming away from traditional methods of training, and they're leaving without craft as such. She also she mentions a few things which feels like it's heavily skewed towards stage. So she mentions, for instance, that screen doesn't require as much technique as stage, which I think is completely wrong. And I don't know how much screen she's taught, and I don't know if she's acted on screen. If she has, fair enough. But, so there's a lot of interesting stuff to unpick there. A lot of
nuances.
I think the statement, without craft an actor is a liability, is, I would say, semi-true. Like, you need some craft. I mean, what is craft to begin with? Like, that's a whole other conversation. You have to have some craft and technique, I would say. But then there's examples of actors that are highly successful, I think, that have craft but aren't aware of their craft. So Bella Ramsey is an example of somebody that I love to give, because they are a phenomenal actor, phenomenal performer, and they have said in an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, they said, I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel like if I unpick it too much, I'll lose whatever I've got. They've got so much craft on screen, but they're not aware of what they're doing, and their instincts are just so good that they come alive. It'd be very interesting to see them on stage, whether that would translate. So I think the statement itself has some truth to it, but I think resigning from an institution like Guildhall is quite an extreme thing to do, and it feels to me like she's unable to move with the times. So, for instance, I say to the students all the time, like 90% of my acting auditions are screen auditions, and in order to be successful as an actor today, you have to have good screen technique. You have to be good at self-tapes. Self-tapes are the number one way that you're going to get cast.
Yeah.
In
Because you can get cast across the world.
Yeah. It's the number one way. You have to be good at self-taping in order to get to the next round of auditions for screen. And screen is 90% of the work. If I look back at all my auditions over 12 years as an actor, I would say 90% of them are screen.
That's where the money is too.
That's where the money is. And there's so much technique involved with screen. It's different to stage, but for her to say you don't need as much technique on screen as stage is completely wrong. They're different things. They are different techniques, but there's so much technique involved
Well, I guess it's
in screen acting, as you know, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just, so I think to say that isn't right, and to say that training is going more down that route is also right, because that's where the work is. Yeah. We've got a duty to prepare the students for the industry and to work as actors, and if 5 to 10% of the jobs out there are stage, then we can't spend 3 years just teaching them stage. Like, yeah, the old British traditions of drama schools and training and that is absolutely valid. I went through it for 3 years, but we did 1 week of screen, and when I left, I wasn't prepared for screen acting auditions. So I wish we'd have covered more stuff. But there's places that are still stuck in, like, doing a whole doing a whole module on restoration comedy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, there's a place for restoration comedy if you've got 10 years to train actors. But why aren't you focusing on teaching them how to self-tape?
Yeah.
And how to perform on screen?
Right? That's what you're talking about.
That. So you have to move on from that.
Do you watch The Wire?
The Wire, I have watched.
Have you seen it?
I've watched the first series.
There's a quote that you're talking about, and my man Slim Charles.
Okay.
In season 4, Slim Charles says to Brody, he says, the thing about the old days, they're the old days. And that's it's
You're so right. Whenever you've got something profound to say, you come really close to the mic.
The thing about the old days.
Is they the old days?
Yeah.
It's right,
unfortunately,
though.
It's
It's right, and I think there's look, like with anything, there's nuance and there's complexity, and I've not listened to I think she's on a podcast, and I should absolutely listen to the podcast.
You're on a podcast.
I'm on a podcast. To get the full complexity of her argument, I've only read the article and heard what people have said, and obviously people always minimise stuff to quotes and to lines here and lines there that are going to get the
You've
most.
been clickbaited.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving forward a bit, I want to know, and you've spoken on this already a bit, but some fun trade secrets, man. We're talking to the offer holders, we're talking to the new ones, the folks that might join us here at University of East London and hang out with a person such as yourself. What's something they gotta know about the game?
I mean, I've just said it, but it's absolutely get good at self-taping, like 100%, because there's no work without it. So you have to go to if you want to get a job, you've got to be good at giving job. You've got to be good at the interview.
Right.
So that is the actor's primary source of being interviewed for a job now is putting yourself on tape. And you have to put yourself on tape for here to apply to be a student here. So just do the research. Yeah. There's loads of stuff out there. I just filmed a video myself on self-taping and kind of very basic tips, but there's loads more stuff out there. If you do that research and you're prepared, preparation is everything. As long as you can walk out of somewhere and go, I gave everything I could there, I was super prepared, and my performance was exactly how I prepped it. What more can you do? You can't do any more than that. So getting good at self-taping is massively, massively important. And just when you're applying for places, like it's a two-way street. We've got to be right for you, and you've got to be right for us. And it's the same with drama schools. I think we get kind of bogged down with like, oh, this amazing place. Like as long as they say yes to me, everything's going to be all right. But that place might not be right for you. Yeah. It really might not be right for you. So just look at what they offer, and if it's not something that you feel is going to get you the prime spot of a job when you leave as an actor, then don't go there.
No doubt.
Go somewhere else.
Well,
Come to us.
On the real. Majid, you've been talking about hip hop so much. You've been talking about rap. You're doing a rap show. You got bangers coming out.
I'm not going to rap if that's what you're
Oh, come on. All right, can you do a quick 16 maybe from your mom?
No.
A quick 16?
No.
All right, who's your? All right, then give me this.
Absolutely
Give me
not.
this. Top three favorite rappers.
Look, if if we're at a
Don't
party,
leave me hanging,
if we're at
my
a
boy.
party and there's karaoke, my party trick is Eminem, Real Slim Shady. but I'm not going to do it now.
You get to do.
I've
some
done
shading.
it too many times.
Yeah?
If you search hard enough on the internet, you will find me rapping.
Dang, you can't give me an original 16?
No.
All right, can you judge my rap?
I'll judge your
All right,
rap.
all right.
I can't give you a 16.
All right,
I'm just too
Oh,
self-conscious.
you know what? I'm gonna give you some Shakespearean rap.
Okay, yeah,
Right,
nice.
fine.
That's
All
your
right.
forte, isn't it?
I'm gonna give you some. Hold up. What I say? What did I say, Majid? I said, even if it's in slow-mo, just keep it moving like a rowboat, because tomorrow creeps in petty pace from day to day. To be or not to be, well, I choose be over everything, speaking things into existence like the fakes in the Scottish play. I'm rolling solo but never alone. In my Instagram photo, I got a boatload of problemos me amigos will never know them. Sun rising, sun setting, still under linen like I'm Yoko. She whispered we should go slow, East Coast, so go-go's all I know them. So I hope you're a frequent flyer, because I come with a lot of baggage. I'm into masking my emotions, so it's great to date an actress. She appeared like a magician, then split just like gymnastics. Modern love is unrecognizable, romance has become Jurassic. Is it wasting time? If I spent all my time wasted, I'm over licking soft before tequila shots, don't need to chase it. Steve McQueen, me too, Deanie. We're all just escapists, haunted by the fact that not all of us will make it.
Nice. I love the mask emotions, and that's why I'm with an actress.
Damn.
Very
that's crazy.
clever.
But
I like that.
she's a producer, though. But I thought it was clever.
I like that.
You know, because
Yeah.
it's not real life.
The multi-layered stuff is great.
Oh, stop it.
That's
Stop it.
why I
Majid.
love Wretch.
Stop it.
Wretch 3.2 is just a genius.
Stop it.
With stuff like. Have you read Rapthology by Wretch?
No, I haven't.
Read it.
But thank you for the comparison.
You'd love it.
Stop it. Quit complimenting me. All right, everybody, check out my boy Majid on Doctor Who in
Just had
May.
to get that in there.
Look my man's up. He be over here shaping things. He be over here acting with people from Bridgerton. He be over here, like, you know, on the real, running with the best of them. You know what I mean? If Denzel Washington was never born, Majid would be him.
Wow.
And that's a beautiful thing.
I don't think I'd be Denzel, but yeah.
You know, shout out to Denzel though.
He's incredible.
Great
yes,
actor.
yeah.
Great actor. One of
my favorites.
One of the best ever.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
ever do it.
Absolutely.
You know, and yeah. All right, cool. That's a wrap. Makers and Mavericks, University of East London. Come to our university. Come hang out with us.
Yeah.